Welcome back everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is a bit of speculation on our part about who could potentially fill the empty seat vacated by Daniel Ricciardo at Renault in 2021. So just to recap the situation, what's going on at the moment, we may only be 1 week away from the start of the 2020 season, yes, get in, but moves have already been made in the driver market for next year, 2021. This was initially triggered after Sebastian Vettel decided not to renew his contract with Ferrari, which led to them signing Carlos Sainz from McLaren, which in turn led Daniel Ricciardo to jump into the McLaren very quickly. So that seat at Renault that Ricciardo has vacated is currently not been filled. That's what we'll be speculating about here. Anyway, let's crack on. First man up is the one displaced from all these driver moves, and without a team, Sebastian Vettel. He's a 4-time world champion and he'll be leaving Ferrari at the end of the 2020 season, and we can probably guess that he's going to be looking for a competitive drive. But the main question will be is Renault, or will Renault at that time be competitive enough for him? Now that's a tough one for us to judge right now because we haven't seen them in 2020 obviously, so we have nothing to base that off right now. But based on 2019, you'd think that they were never really in a race-winning position. And, on the evidence of Ricciardo leaving, you have to wonder, he clearly thinks they're not up to it. He thinks McLaren are in a better position to get him race wins. So he's jumped ship. So maybe Renault aren't in a great spot right now. Another question regarding the Sebastian Vettel Renault connection will be, do Renault have enough money to sign him? Obviously Renault had to cut a large portion of their workforce. COVID's hit everybody really poorly. It's been bad. It's a bad situation out there right now. So will they want to drop this money on Sebastian Vettel? As we know, Daniel Ricciardo was on a large salary, or it currently is, currently is on a large salary with Renault. But the COVID hitting, the layoffs, the questions of whether they want to still be in the sport may have them evaluating their spending. Maybe they don't want to spend that kind of money again. Another point though, Vettel will probably want to be first driver. It's rumoured to be the reason why he's left Ferrari or decided not to re-up his contract, is that he would no longer be the first driver. Obviously Charles Leclerc doing very well against him, and that may ruffle a few feathers. Like Ocon, Renault have invested in him. They've given him a multi-year deal. He's very quick, we know from his time at Force India. So do they want to upset their new young French driver in Esteban Ocon? So that's Sebastian Vettel. Another man who is a free agent and already confirmed to have talks with Renault is Fernando Alonso. These rumours were very hot. As soon as Daniel went, all eyes turned to Alonso. Obviously, he's a 2-time world champion, both with Renault. So he's got lots of history. He's very loved within that team. So the rumours instantly sparked up. We've not heard so much recently, but yes, so he's taken a year out of the sport, and by the time at 2021 it'll obviously be 2 years out of the sport. But he is a generational talent. So you stick him in a car, he's going to make it go faster than pretty much everyone else. We know this from his time with every team he's been with. But the question really is, at the time in 2021, with his advancing age and his time off, will he be able to go like he used to? Also, we have to apply a lot of the questions we applied to Sebastian Vettel to Alonso. The salary is going to need to be big. The number one driver, it's going to need to be Alonso. All these questions, same with Sebastian Vettel, apply to Alonso. One that could be a surprise for people would be Valtteri Bottas. He's been locked into 1-year contracts at Mercedes as a number 2 driver. Mercedes will not commit to him long term. So perhaps he would take a slight step down for some stability and responsibility in the team. So maybe that's what he would be looking for next. He's obviously not signed up for 2021. Obviously, they're just carrying on with his 1-year contract. So he signed for 2020, and then he's a free agent. He's obviously a very quick driver. Mercedes wouldn't have him if he wasn't a quick driver. He has a calm demeanour. He doesn't ruffle any feathers. Exactly, again, why Mercedes have him. So he's not going to challenge Hamilton too much. And he already has a good relationship with Esteban Ocon because of their time at Mercedes together. Obviously, Ocon was a development driver for Mercedes. So he'd probably fit into Renault better than the other two, I'd say. Better than Alonso and better to Vettel. He'd probably be a bit cheaper as well, honestly, not being a multiple-time world champion. But I think it all depends on if Mercedes are going to keep Bottas. And if they do, I think that's very dependent on the 2020 results. So I think we're just going to have to sit and wait and watch this space for that one. Another Mercedes man, though, who could come from left field is George Russell. He's very impressive in his first season at Williams, even if he was at the back of the grid. And it's widely known he's targeting that Mercedes seat. But if they continue to go with the Hamilton-Bottas partnership, what happens then? He may get frustrated and force through a move. Or perhaps we could see Mercedes organise a move up the grid for him. They say, hey, look, we're not interested in you right now, but maybe next season, maybe the season after. How about, rather than racing for Williams, we find you another team? Perhaps that team is Renault. Ocon, obviously, as of last season, was a Mercedes development driver and test driver. So obviously, they do have that ability to go, here you go, Renault, here's a driver. So there's precedent set there. Personally, I think Russell will do very well in a Renault. Very, very well. I think he's definitely got that quality about him. But I would probably rather see him in a Mercedes, actually, at this stage. There are also two very promising young drivers in the Renault Junior program right now. Christian Lundgaard and Guan Yu Zhou. They are both very good F2 drivers. Last year, Zhou received the Anton Hubert Award for the best rookie of the year in F2. It'll be very interesting to see how he progresses over the course of 2020. Lundgaard is making his first step up from F3 to F2, the first full year, but he's highly rated by pundits, so another exciting one to keep an eye on. Will 2021 be too soon for these guys? Only one way to find out. The final person I want to mention is a fun one for me. It's Nico Hulkenberg. Of course it is. I love Hulkenberg. I think he is a tremendous racer, and I really enjoyed seeing the behind-the-scenes stuff with him too. He was surprisingly cut to make way for Ocon for the 2020 season, so he's without a drive right now, and it's extremely unlikely due to the circumstances, but boy would I love to see it. So that's my list. But before I go, I should say that this situation is incredibly strange, surely brought about by the lack of racing for both drivers and teams. As we still have the whole of the 2020 season to go, however long that lasts. So we'll have plenty of time to see and evaluate candidates for the seat, as do Renault themselves. So with that in mind, it'd make a lot of sense for Renault to sit back, take their time, and look over the course of the whole season, so we probably won't get our answers anytime soon. Anyway, who do you guys think will fill that open seat? Is there anyone that I may have missed? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.